Hi, this is Randy. The narcissist is completely impossible to communicate with, and targets really have no other choice but to think that it's them that's not communicating, because no matter how many different ways you try to explain something, no matter how calm you are as the target, how carefully you choose your words, if you're trying to discuss anything whatsoever that is causing the narcissist some kind of emotional upset, they will not understand the meaning of your words, and they will twist your words, because it's almost like whenever they're experiencing some kind of emotion, whether it be jealousy, resentment, old traumas, competition, it's whatever you're saying is always being filtered through this uncontrollable emotion that they have going on. And it's like when your words go through their head, they're being filtered through that emotion, and they don't go inside the narcissist's brain the way that they came out of your mouth. It does not sink in. So communication is impossible. And of course, with relationships, what do they say? The most important thing is that keeps relationships going, or that is necessary to have a good relationship with anyone. Well, it's communication. And when you learn about how to communicate better, it's assumed that you're dealing with somebody that doesn't have this strong, unpredictable emotional filter that is filtering your words in a way that's distorting them, no matter how well you said it, no matter how exact, calmly you put your words. It will not sink in through the narcissist's brain the way that it came out. And I think this is a really important point to realize, that although these people seem to function in the world somehow, that it's only superficial, non-emotionally provoking communication that they're able to handle and able to digest and take in or receive in the way that the communicator meant it or said it. Anything that evokes the internal emotions that are based on who knows what, because they don't share these things with you. They don't tell you, look, this is a trigger for me, that's a trigger for me. They don't identify their triggers and try to work on their emotional triggers. They're just like a walking time bomb. And so any form of communication can trigger these hidden, buried emotions that they have. And you may think that you've communicated things to them in a very rational, logical, calm manner, and you probably have. But it won't be received that way, and you won't understand what's going on, because they seem, again, to function in the world. They're able to go and get gas. They're able to, buy things at the grocery store. They may even be able to work in a job, but it's only if their emotions aren't evoked, because it's this distorted kind of a filter. Like when you have a filter on your camera to make everything blue, or everything with a reddish hue or a yellowish hue. The narcissists have an emotional blockage to hearing information in an accurate way. And you just won't know this until you start getting responses back that just seem to be a parallel kind of conversation. It doesn't seem to relate at all to what you said. And to me, I mean, it's a thought or an affective disorder or both, because an affective disorder is a disorder with your emotions. And the narcissists definitely have a problem with emotions. We all do, to some extent, but theirs is very severe. Their reactivity is extremely severe. And depending on how damaged they are, that's how bad their affective disorder and their inability to receive information that might be emotionally charged to them will be. And then the thought disorder part of it is that once they do have internal emotions going on based on something that was communicated to them or something they even heard on TV, emotions do affect your thoughts, and their thoughts get warped based on this faulty receiving of information that is clouded and filtered through by their unprocessed emotions, unprocessed trauma, and unprocessed learning about their own triggers. And it's just very sad. It's very, very sad in a way. You know, I mean, it's very sad how they affect targets. But if you were to empathize with them, it's like they have no hope. They must know that they're damaged. They must know that everyone else does not go around so emotionally reactive and so triggered all the time that they're actually distorting the incoming information and misprocessing it in their brains. So I just wanted to mention that as a theory that I have about what's going on in the brain of the narcissist. And that's not to discount the fact that they are sadistic and that they are constantly hurtful, intentionally so, and how manipulative they are. But perhaps those qualities or those negative traits are just a natural progression of a person who's been distorting incoming information from the world for so long that they're just in an extremely, constantly defensive posture. Thank you for listening.